Hey everyone, I'm Ben.
And I'm Sam.
This is Counterfeit Christianity. We're coming back. You said it once to me before, and I'm like, that's true. So I found it in my list today, and it stuck out to me. So we're going to talk about God is the King of the Losers. I feel like we might have talked about this, but I can't remember. But who cares if we have? Yeah, it's still fun. We might have some different insight today that we didn't.
So what do we mean by God is the King of the Losers? If you wanted to just go straight to the book, it talks about how God uses the downtrodden and the broken and the things of this world that the world looks at and goes, you're worthless. God will often use those people, those broken people, to do awesome things because I think it's just something he likes to do against the pride of the world. Yeah. Because he can use someone broken. And I think someone broken is probably more humble and able to be open and listen to God as well. Yeah. It probably makes it easier for him to work.
Yeah, we've talked about this as ourselves too. Like the reason it's easier for us is because we're already outside of the system a bit. We don't like the system.
We've already left the system. We don't have anything to lose now. We're not going to be socially ostracized because we already were. We're not going to be told that, we're backsliders and sinners and, they are saying that about us. Some of them get together to watch these videos, some of our old church friends, which is great. Maybe they'll get some truth out of it.
Maybe. But
maybe we will unlock them from their prison.
You never know.
But the overarching thing that I think in the world at the moment is that Christians are, my shit doesn't stink sort of people. We were just talking about Ben's kids have started going to a public school. And the kids have said that basically the public school teachers are way friendlier, way nicer, better people than the Christian ones. The Christian ones are overbearing,
always trying to push like, do the right thing, be the right thing.
Angry. These people are supposed to represent the love of God.
Yeah, not that it doesn't happen in public schools. It happens there, but like you expect it there. In a Christian school, like for some stupid reason, we think good things are going to happen, but it's actually never that.
Well, it seems to be more. I went from a state school to a Christian school too, and there are some teachers that are definitely like that. They're so legalistic and overbearing, and
but some of them
and then the kids associate that with God because these people are supposed to represent Him. But ultimately, that whole Christian holier than thou thing is hilarious because God hates it. The whole we're too good for those people, or you shouldn't go to a public school. They might
indoctrinate you or something. It doesn't happen. That indoctrination doesn't happen if you have a good home. And you have a family, mum and dad, who love each other, and where the father is the leader.
Well, that's why they're trying to destroy the family.
Because that's when they own everything.
You can influence everyone's minds easier, especially if you start when they're young.
Yep, absolutely.
But Christians have always, and religious people in general, always have this: we're better than you. We should stay away from that dirty person. We might.
It's a Pharisee idea, isn't it?
It is
the same thing.
And Jesus did the exact opposite when he came to earth, and he went and hung out with all the dirty people.
I say this often in our chats, and people really don't like it. But I think, and you've said it before as well. But like, Jesus didn't come to save us from hell. He came to save us from religion. He came to save us from systems.
Well, where did he go? He went to the temple and ripped the holiest of holies in half.
Yeah, you're free. You're really, really free.
And the Pharisees were like, why is he off talking to those dirty people? Why is he hanging out with the prostitutes and the sick people?
And it's funny because Christians in a church, they see themselves as like Jesus-like, but they're not at all. They're just the Pharisees in different clothes.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
The church buildings are just the Jewish temple reimagined.
Yeah.
God didn't want
another
temples.
temple of man.
We don't need temples. We are the temple. It says that, right? He literally said the day of the temple is over. And even the apostles went straight away in Antioch and tried to do a new temple. And God's like, he literally sent guys with swords. He's like, get out. Like, that's the only way I'm going to deal with this old religiosity mindset of yours, And that still dominates the church now, thousands of years later. And we have this idea where this holier than thou, we're better than you, we're clean, you're dirty, we're good, you're bad. And they've totally missed the point because God is the king of the losers. He's the guy that doesn't respect the world. Whatever the world thinks is great and good and, I have high status or I'm so rich or my family is so perfect, like, God doesn't value that.
No.
God comes and finds the people who are broken, who need help, who aren't part of the system, who aren't full of themselves, who aren't oppressing other people, who don't think they're better than everyone. And God uses those people.
Yeah.
And he says specifically, I will use the things of this world that are looked down on to bring shame on those who look down on them.
Yeah. I've been thinking, like, we just sort of talked about Jesus ripping the curtain and with his when he died and came back to life. But it's like, in the Bible, like, because we believe the Bible is good if it's read with God, like if you're reading it with God and he can tell you about it. So this is something I've wondered about. Because like in the Old Testament, it seemed like God was this really harsh thing, and they had the tabernacle, they had all these rules and regs, so if you're dirty or clean or all that sort of shit. And it's like, the God that I
contrast to the God I know.
Yeah, the God I know is very different to that, and it does say that God's always been the same. So I reckon we should wonder about, like, this is something that I don't know.
Well, I wonder about it too, and a lot of people do, because they're like, and when people want to criticize God, who often aren't Christian, they go straight to the Old Testament.
Yeah, and say, look,
they go, oh, he's so angry and he kills everyone, and
yeah, well, maybe it's actually bringing into question the Bible, not God. This is probably what it is.
It could be the way men have put it. It could be the way the Hebrews decided to record it. It could have been changed altogether. Sometimes I wonder if references to God and Lord in the Bible are actually referring to Satan. Yeah, I have wondered it.
Or Baal, Ishtar, or Molech. One of them.
And it's been deliberately changed to make God look bad.
Well, back then they didn't even know God's name, so they just called him God, and every God was God.
You're right.
Yeah. So you remember when Paul went into the city and they said, "This is the God. This unnamed God is God." It's because they don't know His name. And so back then they had multiple gods, and they were all God. They worship them and they have power.
Interesting.
And so that's what.
So it'd be hard to go into a group of people like that and then be like, talk about God and have them have any clue what you're talking about, because they'd be relating it to their own experience.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think that what it really does for me. This is just my thoughts right now. Like, I don't know what's right or wrong at all, but it's like, I really think that, like you said it before, it's just the people's experience, and it's sort of like Christians now. God will find them in this Christian system as He probably found them in that system back then.
People change, systems change, structures change, societies change, but God stays the same.
Yeah.
His values and who He is and what He does are the same.
That's why I think.
And when we're made in His image, and our conscience comes from Him too. So, I'm not saying that can't become twisted. I think that is twisted in a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it's twisted in us as well. It's hard.
Well, I think God,
we're flowing out of
God
it
probably changes ours and tries to make it good.
Yeah, well, because we're on the journey with Him.
But the point I'm trying to make is, when we look at something like the Old Testament and go, wow, God looks really harsh, that's from our conscience and our understanding that He gave us. Yeah. Right? And so if that has come out of Him, and our understanding from Him looks at it and goes, I don't like that, then presumably He doesn't like it either. So did it happen? Did it happen differently? Was it recorded a certain way?
Or was it just
man necessary doing man things? Because that's just the way people are at the time, and that's the only way it could be done?
Well, we've also thought about this idea of those people might have needed another thing. Who knows if it's right or wrong? But we've talked about it. Yeah, where they actually had to die because they were like Nephilim.
Because we have to wipe out a whole people before we take the land.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to reconcile, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wipe out a whole people. God just told me to wipe out a whole people.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
or is it more just tactics of man? And they say God told them to do it to make it so that they could do that easily without having people question it.
The idea that is horrible comes from God.
Yeah.
So why would God do it? I don't know. Maybe He did do it, but there's an overarching
a reason we have no idea
evil.
About.
Like, maybe He looks at it and goes, well, yeah, look, there's 100,000 of them, and if
they're Baal worshipping child murderers, they rape all their kids, they burn them, set them on fire.
This is all hell and misery. I need to destroy this because it's worse to leave it there. And if I don't destroy it, then there's millions of my people. Because I think He loves you enough that His love isn't as generic as people think it is.
Yeah,
it's like
it's deep.
I love everyone equally, and whatever. It's like, actually, I'm pretty sure the ones He really chooses and He knows are His, He's fiercely loyal to them.
We've talked about that before.
It's not that He doesn't love these other people too and have compassion for them, agape love, but the love He has for those that are His is so strong that even those other people that He has agape love for, if they threaten those people in any way, He will fuck them up. He will destroy them because they're threatening these people.
Because and anyone can be that those people with Him. They can just have to make the choice, right? Just be with Him. But
well, it might come down to as well, He can look at things further ahead, and He can look and go, well, that people, that evil child murdering, Baal worshipping people, if they're left there, they're going to poison and corrupt these ones, and it's not just the 100,000 that will be destroyed, it'll be the million, and the million, and all their descendants.
Forever.
So He has to look at it and go, well, this is their choice, and they've chosen to be this way, and this way is evil. If I don't destroy it, then these people can never enjoy life. That all their children, their children's children for the next 10,000 years might be destroyed.
Yeah. And it is a choice too, because God shows himself to every single one of us, and we choose him yes or no. We all have that.
Well, our sense of fairness comes from him too, and to make an informed decision, everyone would have to have the right information, right?
Yep.
There must be a semblance of fairness there.
Yeah.
To make that choice.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation. And it's just like, it's good just to talk about it.
We don't know the answer.
No.
And that's one of the trappings of modern religion is that
we wait and see.
It assumes and implies
in this,
that
there'll
you
be
must
some,
know the answer.
There'll be some dickhead Christian saying, "You're wrong. This is the answer." It happens in every episode. Every single one. I'm going to tell you in this giant essay what's wrong and why I'm right and why you're wrong. It always happens.
It's good.
It is
good. They
good.
write those comments.
I love it.
People can then pick those apart and start to see the truth for what it is.
That's why I think knowledge is death. If we know something, we can't flow from that. So
we think we know something.
Yeah. And it's so hard. Like, that's why we've talked about understanding in the past. And I think that is a separation. Come back to what we were talking about.
Appreciation.
We are outside of this system. We are the losers. So we have the ability to think about things and understand it and question it. But if you choose to be in the system, you can't question it.
I guess losers is relative to the perspective of the person.
Yeah.
You know, like,
to the world, we're losers.
To the world, we're losers. To Christians, we're losers.
Yeah.
Those backsliders, you know, we're probably heretics to them.
Oh, yeah.
But to God, it's like, this is my sons. You know? So those who appear to be losers to the world, they might just be God's winners.
That's what we were trying to get to eventually, right? Is that they say we're losers, but that's cool with us because we're with him.
And what's our motivation? It isn't to win. It's not a game. No. It's just we like being close to our dad.
Yeah, and talking about him.
Because he loved us first. You know, we are able to love because he first loved us.
Yep.
The problem is his love was being distorted by religion and church and etc. Yeah. And once we got away from that distortion, we could see him properly, correctly. And now we see him, then I guess what is him is shining back out of us, but without the distortion. And Christians hate that.
Yeah.
Because they live in the distortion. The distortion is their everything. And for someone like us to just openly have God and appear to be a loser in their eyes, this does not compute. It drives them crazy.
I see it often.
They can't handle that.
You do see it so often. There's all these people that know so much. And
they do. We make them insecure though, because we're a paradigm that's outside what they've been taught, but we're still talking about God in a positive way, and they're like, what? It like breaks their brain. And especially when you start attacking their sacred cows like the Bible and saying, well, the Bible has been adjusted, there's been books removed, you know. And P.S. I know I've said this 100,000 times, but it says it itself at the back of the book. Whoever changes the words of this book, etc., etc. People are like, there's no way the Bible could be changed. It's immutable. It is God.
Yeah.
It's like the Bible says at the back, don't change or you will get all the plagues, etc., on you. Why would it say, are you saying the Bible's a liar? It's simultaneously perfect and lying to you at the same time?
Yeah.
It says the book will be changed. We know what happens when you tell humans not to do things. They do them.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's so fun. No, that's good. It's fun that we get to be losers in this world. I'd
rather be the world's loser.
Yeah. We are the biggest loser.
If I'm with God. And I don't care if it's not about, I want to be a winner. It's like, I just want to be with my dad.
Yeah.
When I'm with my dad, things work. When I'm with my dad, people try and mess with me and things happen to them.
And I feel joy and I'm happy with this. Yeah, it's more fun. It's more fun to be with him because otherwise the weight of the world crushes you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's probably it, eh?
Yeah, right.
See ya.